My guest today is a man that doesn't sleep. If you turn on the ACC network, you'll see Jordan Cornette in the studio, pre, post, halftime. You turn on ESPN, there's Jordan Cornette, pre, post, halftime, or he's at a game analyzing the game. You turn on ESPN radio, there's Jordan Cornette and his wife, Shay Pepler Cornette, talking sports. It's a pleasure to bring in my buddy, the man who never sleeps, Jordan Cornette. Jordan, how are you doing, and do you ever sleep?
Kenny Mac, you're my inspiration, brother. I see you. You're the James Brown of the business, hard-working man in it, doing it. And I realize the only way you're going to make waves is if you say yes to everything, you're prepared for everything that you do, and you truly love and enjoy what you're doing. And I happen to be all of those things just like you, my friend. So I'm having a blast while I'm doing it. Being spread thin, no doubt, but it's the only way for a guy like me.
Well, I tell you what, you do such an outstanding job. And for people that don't know, Jordan, of course, is a legend at Notre Dame. So every time I see Jordan, I always say this one thing. Did I ever tell you about the triple-double I scored against Notre Dame?
Yeah, you always let me know about that one. You always do.
Well, hey, Jordan, you're at ESPN, you're at the ACC Network. Are you having fun doing it? I mean, you look like you really, really are enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah, Kenny, I'm having fun. There's some trepidation moving as a Midwest guy my whole life, growing up in Cincinnati, spending nearly 16 years in Chicago post-college. I grew to love the Midwest. I was born there. I grew to love Chicago. It truly became home to me. A lot of times I catch myself referencing Chicago as home just because so many important pieces and years of my life took place there in that city. And the city welcomed me with open arms and shed a lot of tears when I left. So coming into a new part of the country, not knowing anybody, my wife Shay leaving her job with Fox covering the Bears and doing sports there, we took a big risk. And get out here and get our feet settled and me starting to establish myself along with my wife, alongside my wife. It's been a lot of fun. It's a beautiful part of the country out here where we got a nice little corner that we posted up on. We love our neighbors. And so it's been a good experience so far.
Now, a lot of people may not realize, but you and your wife, you have become the first husband and wife team to host a radio show on ESPN. How cool is that, working with your wife on the weekends?
I look a little bit better in those pictures right there. I'm going to look at that like I need to get back to that. It's been a magical ride, really, Kenny. I mean, look, when you put people on radio or television together, you're looking for chemistry, right? I mean, you're looking to pair people with somebody they got a vibe with. And I always say, well, hell, if I don't have a vibe with my wife and we don't have chemistry with each other working together, then why did we exchange vows almost a year and a half ago? And, there's some navigation you have to do when you're working alongside your wife. It allows you to be able to say whatever you want, obviously within the realm of respect, because you know how the other is going to take it. That trust is there.
Right.
So we've been able to really max out on that, show our authentic selves. And for the most part, people have been enjoying it, which in turn allows us to enjoy it that much more. But yeah, I mean, you definitely got to understand, like, it doesn't stop when you get off the air. So
right.
You can also separate work from, intimacy and being friends and your marriage and all that stuff. So we've been navigating it pretty seamlessly right now, and that's been pretty cool.
Now, everybody knows you're a Notre Dame legend. Everybody knows me, I love Notre Dame. Let's take the fact that you work for the ACC network out of it. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame, in this pandemic, saved college football by deciding to play and join the ACC for 1 year?
Kenny, it's a great question. And there's a lot of Notre Dame haters out there, so I think they'd scoff at merely the question being asked. But if you look at it, you look at them, you look at some of these other schools like in Ohio State, heck, you could throw in Nebraska with how aggressive they were with trying to return the sport. And yeah, Notre Dame, the brand that it is, the tradition that it is, them wanting to play, definitely served as a catalyst and also a sense of insurance that we would play this year. You can also look at it for the network I do work for that you mentioned there, Kenny, in the ACC, and them taking on Notre Dame for this year and what I've called a study abroad year. Notre Dame probably doesn't have the ability to fill out a schedule if the ACC doesn't take them on and let them play in that conference. And now Notre Dame is maxed out on that opportunity, being undefeated, being the number 2 team in the country, and being atop the ACC standings with a real chance to play for in the college football playoff for a championship. So It's a beautiful relationship because Notre Dame may have saved college football to a degree, but college football and the ACC saved Notre Dame in terms of having a schedule since they are typically independent.
Right. Well, everybody knows. I mean, I still believe the Paul Blue Demon Blue. You see, I got my blue on today.
But, I got my Knights on. I'm repping Chicago.
Yeah. But everybody knows, I'm Catholic, and Notre Dame is God's country for everybody that's Catholic. What was it like for you to play basketball 4 years and your last 2 years be the captain at Notre Dame?
Something I'll never forget, and that's why covering the sport, I take a great joy in it. Man, that tattoo is hideous. It looks even worse. But I watch these athletes, and they don't know what they don't know. So they're just going out there and playing and enjoying and making lifelong memories, but they don't know that they're lifelong memories. They're just going about their everyday life like all of us are. And when they look back on what life was like as an 18 to 22-year-old, they'll realize you'll never have it that good again. I mean, flying privately, meals provided for you, help with pretty much anything you need, within the confines of the rules, of course.
Right.
But you're truly spoiled. And you've got people that cheer for your every success and hone in on your every failure. And that doesn't happen in life after that. But what you remember more than anything are those cheers. And how many times in your life, Kenny, now, and me now in my life, do you have tens of thousands of people watching what you're doing and supporting you in that moment? Now, we work in the medium of media, so we do still have that attention, but there's not a gathering of tens of thousands of people there cheering you on. And that's something that's hard to let go of. It was an exciting time in my life, but the lasting friendships that I was able to develop, people that stood up in my wedding, people that I can call when I'm in a bind, people that I can call to just kick it and pass the time. I mean, those were established in those locker rooms. So it's a memory I'll forever cherish, and it's a part of my identity.
Right. Well, you're Mr. Notre Dame. Hey, I understand that Mike Bray gave you your start in broadcasting when he said, hey, why don't you do color for Notre Dame basketball on the radio? Is that how you got started?
Yeah, no, Coach Bray, and this is what speaks to me feeling really confident about the college decision I made. I mean, you choose a school based on the opportunity to play, based on how good that basketball program is, how do you fit there, how do you feel, and then, of course, academically, in a lot of ways, led the way at Notre Dame. But a big part of my choice was the chemistry with the coach and the trust I had for the coach and the respect I had for the coach. And Mike Bray taking over in a time where I committed to one coach in Matt Doherty. If Matt Doherty leaves for North Carolina, I'm still in high school. I have a chance to pick another school, reopen my recruiting, and ultimately decide to return to Notre Dame and play for Mike Bray. And Mike Bray seemed like an authentic, sincere guy. And that's exactly what he ended up being. I didn't go on to the NBA. I wasn't a lottery pick. I wasn't somebody who was going to dump millions of dollars back into the program because I signed a robust NBA contract. But what I was a guy who kept my head down for 4 years and worked hard. And in turn, when Coach had an opportunity to kind of decide who he wanted to be the color analyst on the radio side alongside the legendary Jack Nolan, he saw potential in me. And he knew in my 4 years playing there that it was something I was deeply interested in. And he gave me that opportunity. And when you're given an opportunity, Kenny, we know better than anybody, you better take full advantage of it. You better prove yourself. Right. You better be well prepared. I was very early on. I mean, we're back about 13, 14 years.
But then you make the jump over to television. Was that a difficult jump to go from radio to TV doing basketball games? Because you started doing analyzing games on CBS Sports Network, then ESPN. Is a big difference between radio and television. Was that a difficult transition for you?
It wasn't. And if anything, radio was kind of where you worked on your fundamentals because you're telling the story. People don't have the eyes. You are the eyes. So you got to be able to accurately tell what's going on in as few amount of words as possible. So you got to be succinct, but you've got to be accurate and you've got to be vivid in the detail you're providing. So you really work on the base of what analysis is because less is always more. And so I was able to sharpen that tool, hone in on that skill with radio, then take the radio side, bring it into TV, and then say, okay, now everybody has the eyes. So I don't need to tell them what they're seeing. I need to tell them why they're seeing. So it's about asking the right questions of what you're trying to achieve before you go on the airwaves. And that is a different medium, radio as opposed to TV. So it's a different question of what am I trying to achieve doing radio. It's let people know what they can't see. On TV, let people know why they're seeing what they're seeing. And once you know that, once you have the tunnel towards what the end game is, it allows you to do a good job. And I hope I'm doing that.
Well, you're doing a great job. And also, now that's also different in the studio, because in the studio, you have to be on top of maybe 10 or 12 games and analyze them for your audience at one time.
Yeah, Kenny. I mean, the thing about it, and people love sports. People get away from their jobs and their life and maybe stuff going on in their life to just immerse themselves in sport. And it's kind of an escape for a lot of people. For us, for me, for you, it's our job. And so when you talk about the different roles I have, all that amounts to really is what people see as enjoyment is my career. I have to be in front of the TV watching all these games and consuming them. And to people, it may seem like, oh, what's better than that? Well, to me, nothing. But it does become a work approach. So I am watching, for example, basketball all day with the Maui Invitational kicking off today. I'll be watching, but I'll have my computer next to me. I'll have some note cards next to me, and I'll be taking feverish notes from what I'm seeing, stockpiling that into a huge document so I can draw upon it and also absorb that information. So when I'm talking about a team, I put my eyes on that team. I'm not laying it up, giving you analysis coming from somewhere else. I am invested. I am working at it. I am watching it. And because I've been hired to do a job, I'm telling you what I see. And hopefully it allows the fan to be more informed as well. So I take every job, every gig, every portion of this career, every facet incredibly serious. And I always want to be the hardest working guy when I'm in whatever role it is.
Because a lot of people always tell me when I do a game or a talk show, whatever, oh, God, it's so easy what you guys do. No, we work very hard to make it look easy. So that's a compliment when they say, oh, God, it's so easy. That means we're working hard. Hey, final question before I let you go.
Yeah.
What advice do you give that student on the Notre Dame basketball team or that student in the Notre Dame broadcasting school that wants to be Jordan Cornette?
Well, I tell them to find a better role model. That's probably what first. Kenny, I would say don't listen to anybody that tells you you can't do something. Along the road, there are so many people, unfortunately, that said, you're better off doing this. Do you really think you're going to make it during that? You didn't score enough points. You're not as big enough of a name. And I knew what I was doing. So I would say, no, that's cool. Glad you think that. I believe in myself. So bet on yourself, one. So don't listen to people in that regard. But do listen to people in this vein. Take advice. Absorb information from those that are worthy of giving it. There's a wealth of information and resource out there. Kenny, I've gone to you with questions before. I've gone to a myriad of other people with a wealth of experience and tapped into that experience and used that for my own benefit. Ask questions, be inquisitive. And so in the regard of betting on yourself, do not listen. Listen to people that know. Take that information. It'll allow you to thrive. It'll allow you to grow. Never be scared. So the confidence in not listening and also the confidence in leaning on others will take you a long way. That's how I've gone as far as I've been able to go. And hopefully, Kenny, I've got a longer way to go. But it's been at every checkpoint saying, I don't quite know what I'm doing here with this. So let me ask somebody or somebody I've noticed knows what they're doing, latch on to them, get what I need from them, and then try and take it even further. And that's a big part of this thing too. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. If you think you can do it, you've got the best awareness of anybody. It's your self-awareness. Bet on that, and you can go really far.
Right. Great advice. Bet on yourself. I bet on Jordan Cornette, and look at him now. Superstar at ESPN and the ACC Network. Jordan, I know you have to go to work today, so I'm going to let you go, but I want to thank you so much for taking time, and we'll be watching you on ESPN and the ACC Network and, of course, on ESPN Radio because you never sleep. Hey, thanks so much, Jordan. I really appreciate you.
Kenny, you're the best, man. Love you like family. Miss seeing you every day. And we got to get you a Notre Dame frame jersey back behind you.
Well, you know, those are the jersey that Rahm Emanuel gave me for my 1000 Sports Edition show. And then the Cubs gave me the 2016 jersey from the World Series. But, yeah, give me a Notre Dame jersey. I guarantee you I'll put it up because I'm a DePaul guy through, but I also love Notre Dame.
Kenny, you're the best, man. Thanks for having me, my friend.
Thanks, Jordan.